It's story time again, another Goblin and Gnome story. This one is called Goblin Hill. And this is Jessie. There we go. There's Jessie. Jessie was skipping in the sun when she heard a tiny, tiny cry. Help me, please help me. And when she looked down, there was a fairy stuck in a spider's web. Help, cried the fairy. Help. Can you see her? There, look, poor little thing. Jessie could hardly believe her eyes, and gently she lifted the fairy from the web. Oh, thank you so much, cried the fairy. Oh, my goodness, thank you. I was going to Goblin Hill for a party. Would you like to come? Jessie's gran had told her stories about Goblin Hill, and not once had Jessie imagined goblins actually lived there. But now she looked closely. She saw a door. You saved my life, said the fairy. Would you like to come for tea with the king and the queen? Imagine going into the hill, said Jessie, but she was far too big. Until the fairy tapped her on the shoe. Ding! And suddenly she became the same size as the fairy. And the fairy opened the door and led Jessie inside and held her hand walking through. Can you see? There. Gosh, what adventures is she going to have? Welcome to Goblin Hill, Jessie, said the king. There we go. There's the king and the queen. They arrived in the middle of the goblin parade. It's to celebrate the return of Prince Kester, said the fairy. Prince Kester was very excited to meet Jessie. He had never seen a girl up close before. Oh, you are beautiful, he said. Here, have these flowers. They're magic flowers and they will last forever. Oh, what a gift! What a gift! He asked the goblin choir as to sing a song just for Jessie, and the royal band tried to play along, but they kept playing the wrong notes. All together now, higher, higher, higher. Oh, goodness. And now the balancing elves, said the king, and Jessie clapped loudly. But they were more like falling elves. They just kept falling over themselves. And the balancing elves were followed by the juggling pixies. And they were even funnier than the clowns. They weren't very good at juggling. Look at them. They throw things up in the air and they all land on top of each. They all land on top of their heads and all over the place. And finally, everyone sat down to a huge picnic in the shade of a lollipop tree. Lollipop tree, can you see? All the lollipops in the tree. And the king said, let the feast begin. And look at all that lovely food on their picnic table. Oh, I must go, said Jessie at last. My mother will wonder where I am. Don't worry, said the king. Time stands still here. And don't forget your flowers. And Jessie ran down the tunnel and rolled out of the door, and outside the grass was a jungle, and Jessie was still the size of a bee. There, look. She's in the grass. She's still tiny like the fairy. But as she stood up, Jessie shot to her usual size, and she looked back at the hill, and the door was nowhere to be seen. And Jessie shook her head. What a fantastic adventure. But Would her friends ever believe her? There she is, scratching her head, thinking, do I really believe it myself? Did it really happen? But it did, didn't it? She had a magic adventure. And that's the end of that story.